Okay, so this is the second Apollonian transmission, and in this video I want to talk about the dream that helped me found the first idea of Apolloism. Because Apolloism is not, in my opinion, at least, an ordinary religion slash philosophy. It's a philosophy that is solely for your interest and for your own good. It's a bridge between the ordinary and the divine, which means that it can bring you to Godhood. So to begin talking about the dream which founded Apolloism, or which sprouted the idea of Apolloism indirectly, it went like this. I was dreaming about 4 months ago. It's a pretty complex dream. So in this dream, I was in a big valley with trees, hills, and it was with like 200 people. These people didn't know what was going on, and I realized that it was like a prison. There were high fences around this valley. People didn't know what they were doing, but they were trying to discover the valley, to escape. It was like, I don't know if you know the movie The Maze Runner. It was something like that. It was like some sort of cube, sort of like prison. And people were being kept prisoner there, much like this reality. They were being hunted by people who wanted to control them, to use them like resources, like batteries, like slaves. Okay. So the first time I tried to escape, I went to a big tree. I climbed over it, which was pretty hard to do. But I climbed over the fence, which had things like thorns, iron thorns. I went over the fence, and I thought I was free. So I walked over this big road, and I didn't know where I was going. I was in the first stage. I wanted to escape, but I didn't understand the complexity of the prison. So I walked along this road, and I didn't remember if a car picked me up or I walked to the police station myself. But I ended up at the police station. Last I know is I was in front of this police officer sitting on a chair, and they wanted me to fill in this page, and that's all I remember. So it all looked fake. The cars looked fake when I was outside of the prison. It was like it was a prison around a prison. So you would think that you were free, but you were still in a controlled reality. It was all played. The cars were sort of fake, and the police station was sort of fake. It was all a facade to keep you inside of that prison. Second rendition of the dream I had, which was still the same dream. I was back into that sort of prison, but I went inside a building. It's like a pagoda-like building with multiple floors. And I was there on the first floor, and someone was holding a gathering or teaching, I don't know, I don't remember. But it was like this sort of weird thing, like I realized that it was an illusion. So when I realized that, I sort of went through the roof, like the roof was transparent. Like it wasn't concrete, I just went through it, and I was on the second floor, and nothing was there. So I went about 5 floors above that, and at one moment I was standing on the roof, and on the roof was this like hedge of plants, very tall plants, and I climbed up to that hedge, and at one moment I was seeing a garden right about 1 meter below the hedge. Very high garden, but very luxurious. And I was looking below me and I saw all these people walking and the hill, the prison, remember? And that garden was very luxurious. So I went over the edge into the garden, and I almost certainly I realized that this is like an elite garden, the garden of the elites of this world. Very luxurious. So I ran through the garden like I was fleeing, and I walked onto the real road, the real world. So now begins the chapter of the dream that's very significant. Okay, so I walked down the road, I was running down the road rather, and I walked around a lot of roundabouts. I kept going left, instead of right. I don't know the symbolism there, but I kept going left. I kept running left. And the more or the farther I ran, the more luxurious it got. Eventually I got to a building. It was like extremely luxurious, like Caesar Palace, like the Vatican, but even more beautiful. It was like gold and black, and I went inside. And when I was inside the building, I even kept running. And every hall I saw, it got more beautiful, like closer to the gods, closer to the Pantheon. It got more and more luxurious, and eventually, when I got like because in the center of each hall was a fountain, I got like 4 fountains further, and eventually I arrived at a room. I saw like a fountain, and this is almost surreal. I saw like a statue or a lady with stars on her, and she was inside of the fountain, and she made a movement like this. And I saw around that like all these statues. It was like the Pantheon in Rome, which I visited when I was like 15 years old. And I thought it was called the Room of Fire or Light, the God of Light. I won't specify the name here, the God of Light. So when I saw that room, and the sound you hear in the intro of this video was the exact sound I heard in that room, I froze for a moment, because a lady was standing behind me and she tapped me on my shoulder, or I don't really remember, or I sensed she was there, so I looked over to her and she says, welcome, you're one of us and you can sleep in the room of, I did remember the name, but I forgot it. Oh yeah, the Room of Karma Shed, it was called. With, I was spelled Karmachet. So that was the name of the room, and the room was like all white, a round form, and it had a very big bed, like 4 times king size, and I would be sleeping there. And that's all I remember of the dream. I think the name Karma Shed is symbolic of the name of karma and shedding. Just, you know, you're free and you can shed all your karma of your past life, of the prison you were in before. Just as a side note, it felt like I was coming home. I was entering a new reality. And the lesson I learned from this dream was that dreams aren't distinct from reality. They are actually a bridge to the divine. So there's a lot of room for thought, and that was the dream that founded Apolloism. Think about it. Have a great productive day.